The rise and fall of the Berlin Wall. The events of World War II were so devastating that it would change Europe's landscape, its borders, and its people forever. Germany is left to be split up by the victorious nations following its surrender. This will result in much more than a towering concrete wall. It will result in an ideological divide in the German people that is more than just a line on a map. This fundamental division goes much deeper and will long outlive the remnants of the war. Germany surrendered to the Allied powers on May 8, 1948, and German territory was divided between the four nations, each put in charge of the administration of its zone. This affected both the country as well as the capital of Berlin, which was located in the center of the Soviet territory. Following conflicts between the Soviet and the Western powers, the United States, United Kingdom, and France decided to combine their territory on September 21, 1949, and formed the Bundesrepublik Deutschland, the Federal Republic of Germany, better known as West Germany. The Soviet Union responded promptly and less than 3 weeks later created the Deutsche Demokratische Republik, German Democratic Republic, better known as East Germany. The same split also applied to the capital. The territory belonging to the Western powers came to be known as West Berlin and resembled a West German island within the borders of East Germany. Up until 1961, travel between the two countries was possible, and many East German citizens would work in West Germany to earn the higher wages offered in the capitalist country. This was especially common in Berlin. West Berlin's location in the center of the communist territory created a loophole for refugees. Between 1945 and 1961, more than 3 million East Germans fled communism and reclaimed their freedom and re-established their life in West Germany. Most of the people fled through the Berlin loophole. In 1960 alone, almost 200,000 East German citizens left their homes behind in the hopes for a better future for them and their family. By 1961, East Germany had hemorrhaged citizens at an alarming rate, having lost almost 20% of its population. Attempting to stop the migration, the East German government decided to seal the loophole and contain its people. Overnight, from August 12th to August 13th of 1961, all points of entry had suddenly been sealed off with barbed wire and sentries. Many families were suddenly divided, and in the weeks to follow, the construction of a concrete wall was set into motion. The wall was protected by sentry towers and minefields, effectively putting an end to the East German migration of the previous years. The cold and drab concrete wall became a physical symbol of the Cold War and a daily reminder for the loved ones that while mere meters away, they were trapped in another world. The West German government was upset at America allowing Stalin to build this wall. However, President John F. Kennedy believed that a wall is a hell of a lot better than a war. In 1963, President John F. Kennedy, in the hopes of calming the West German people by pledging America's continued support, gave his famous Ich bin ein Berliner speech, declaring himself a Berliner, which ironically is not just a citizen of Berlin, but also a jelly donut. Arguably the most important speech given at the Berlin Wall was by President Ronald Reagan, who spoke at the Brandenburg Gate with the wall behind him, urging the leader of the Soviet Union, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. Before the wall would ultimately fall on November 9, 1989, it had expanded to cover almost 100 miles, and along its length were death strips from only a few feet to over 400 feet wide. Within those so-called death strips were electric wire fencing, dog runs, minefields, and patrolling soldiers. 302 sentry towers were located along the wall to shoot anyone trying to escape. At night, the death strips were brightly illuminated. Finally, a vehicle blockade trench called Kfz-Sperrgraben was added to deter anyone attempting to break the barricade with an armored vehicle. During the 28 years of the Berlin Wall dividing the former German capital, only 5,075 East German citizens successfully escaped, far less than 1% of the people that left East Germany in the 16 years prior to the wall. They often escaped in very adventurous ways and always with their life at risk. The number of failed escapes is still unknown. 138 people lost their lives at the Berlin Wall. While the wall is officially torn down, remnants do still remain throughout Berlin. Germany was reunited on October 3, 1990, 1 year after the borders opened. The Soviet territory became part of the Federal Republic of Germany, and superficially the country seems whole again. The impact of the division, however, is still felt throughout Germany. The salary and economy of former East Germany is still trying to catch up to the West, and many of the German citizens still identify as either being East or West German. While the wall may be a ruin and pieces of it are sold as a souvenir, it is uncertain how long it will take for the wounds it left behind to heal.